Bookies. I've rearranged my shelves. But today we are going to go over dystopian recommendations. So let's get started. I don't know what month January is supposed to be or anything. Like November is nonfiction. I don't know. What website are people finding these on? I don't know. So I decided that for January I would go over dystopian recs because I really like dystopian reads. I don't know what it is about the world ending that makes me be like, oh yeah, this is my jam. But it vibes with me, okay? I don't know. Since I have also redone my shelves, I'm so happy for them. Since I've also redone my shelves and made this room more workable, I moved all my extra books to another room that we're not using because of COVID. We're not having friends over or anything, so it's becoming a temporary storage room. But because of all those things, I finally have a shelf that I can dedicate to dystopians. I already have some over here that I'm just going to recommend in a bit. And I can finally separate them from the poor science fiction shelf. Even though it is like a subset of them, I like to separate them because to me, like, dystopian is like a little bit different than just science fiction. And when I say dystopian, I have a bit more of a broader sense of dystopian than most people. And I mean, you can debate me if you want, like, but this is my shelves. So we're going to go by my definition. I define dystopian as like the world, the place that the people are living in has went to complete crap and they're being controlled by an overruling government and someone is fighting against that. Or it's a time when a overarching villain is in control of some portion of the world or whatnot, and it's up to the main character / team to go and fix it. Pretty broad. I know it's not the exact term of dystopian, but it's what I go with. But yeah, so I like it. I really like the genre. So I'm going to show you some of the books that I really like. So the first recommendation that I have is Brandon Sanderson is less known series called Steelheart series. Basically, this series is about this world that people are living in. And if you've ever seen Heroes, it's kind of like Heroes, wherein there's this eclipse happens, and people get superpowers during this phenomena that happens. Same thing happens here. There is a moon event that transpires. People get powers from it, except in this world the power corrupts you. So they're not superheroes. We don't have oh god, I don't even know the actress's name. We don't have the girl that can heal herself, and we don't have the guy that the awesome guy that can stop time now. We got people that can like control steel, and people that can like time travel and wormhole hop and all this other shit. Like, it's fierce here. Several points in this book series, I was like, I'm pretty sure our main character is going to die, even though I knew that there were more books. That's just how it was. So, highly recommend this. I highly recommend anything from Brandon Sanderson. He is an amazing author, but this was the first series that started me on my journey with his writing. Next, I'm going to recommend probably the OG of YA dystopian, The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. I have the series on my book carts because I'm going to reread them because of the fourth book that came out, which is a prequel. I have avoided spoilers. Please, no one tell me any spoilers down below. But if you've never heard of The Hunger Games 1, have you lived under a rock? Because this is an amazing hit. It has 4 movies. But 2, basically, this girl lives in a world that is an alternate America, future America, I guess, where there was a big uprising and the government only came back under control by, how do I say this, by separating the Americas into districts instead of states. Everyone's separated into 13 districts, and every year there is a Hunger Games, which they take 2 random children from each district to pit them against each other to fight to the death, as kind of a reminder of like, well, this is what happens when you uprise. We take your children, even though they're still taking your children, so uprise again. Which is exactly what happens in this series. Main character is Katniss. She's awesome. She can shoot bows. She's poor. She goes and, shoots game illegally. I don't know why that's illegal, but whatever. Her sister gets picked to be one of the tributes for the year, and she volunteers in her place because it's her younger sister. And then it's Katniss's journey to surviving. Really hardcore surviving. This is my favorite book series of all time, except for one. There's one that ranks a little bit higher than it. But besides that one, favorite book series. I absolutely love it. So I'm going to show you that one that trumps the Hunger Games. The Uglies series by Scott Westerfeld. Basically, this is a world in which I don't remember what the causing event was. I do know that there was something that happened, I think, with nanobites. I have to reread this series because goldfish brain, I always forget what really happens. There's nanobites or something that causes the destruction of the world, so they rebuild anew, and it looks pretty on the outside. It looks like a utopia, except that you get to know it, and you find out that when you turn 16, when the children of this world turn 16, they are given plastic surgery to become pretty. And everyone's kind of brainwashed into thinking that you need to be pretty to go anywhere in life, I guess. So is our main character. Her name is Tally. She thinks that she needs to be pretty to, I get a little bit choked up because this book really resonated with me when I was little. It was one of the first YA books that I read. But she thinks that she has to be pretty to be in society. And she meets a girl named Shay, who is very against turning pretty. When Shay goes missing, the government tells Tally that she won't be turned pretty until she finds Shay. And so then it's Tally's journey to bring Shay back home. But when she finds Shay, will she want to go back home herself? This book hits a lot of really good points about beauty and what society does to, especially to young girls, with the message of what is deemed pretty nowadays. It's a really good message to young people, especially young girls, that you don't need to be pretty. You don't need to be socially pretty to go anywhere in life. You're pretty enough. That's basically what this series says. And which is really cool, it's getting a second side series. So this one has 4 books. It has Uglies, Pretties, Specials, Extras. And Extras was a different book with a different character. This is set after the events of this world, 10 years or something like that. And it revolves around twins, Frey and Raffi. And it's so good. This one was really good. I have the next two. This one's Imposters. Next one is Shatter City. And then there's another one, something Mirrors, something like that. I'll flash the covers. But good series. I highly recommend it. I highly recommend you binge them too. Next book that I'm going to recommend is a little bit different than the other dystopians. This one doesn't have a government that is destroying the world. It's monsters that are destroying the world. That's our villain. This one is Unchosen by Katharyn Blair. Basically, there's some sort of virus or something that gets spread eye to eye, and it turns you into a monster. What I really liked about this is, and what I will reread for this book for, the main character is not the prophetic chosen one of the story. Her sister is. And when people come to raid the village, she takes her sister's place as the chosen one. The chosen one is like someone that can save humanity or whatever. Really good premise, really interesting, and I love the trope of I'm not the chosen one, but. Next one, kind of along the same vein as Unchosen, is The Kingdom by Jess Rothenberg. I never see anyone talking about this book, and it always makes me sad because this book is absolutely amazing. Basically, take Disney World, and you have people dressed as princesses, like you have Belle, and you have Cinderella, and you have Mulan, and you have Jasmine, and Moana, and stuff like that. Now take that, and Five Nights at Freddy's it. The princesses, you know, like at Disney, they're real people that just dress up. Make them animatronics, and you have this book. Basically, the kingdom is set in this theme park. Our main character is an animatronic. She plays a princess, and she starts to go a little Westworld and starts to realize that things are not what they seem to be, or what she was told, what she was programmed. Such a good book. It is such a good book, and it is a dang shame no one ever talks about this book. It is amazing. This one I am anxiously awaiting to read the sequel of, but This Is Not the Just Show by Carey, another one that a lot of people don't talk about. If you have ever watched The Truman Show, which is a movie by Jim Carey where he is unknowingly the main character in this reality show. He was casted from birth, and he thinks that he's living his life, but it's actually very scripted and in front of cameras and everything. If you have watched that, you will love this book. Basically, same premise. Jess, our main character, she's living her life until she realizes things are weird. And people aren't who they say they are. Absolutely love this. There's a really big twist at the end that makes me want to that makes me put it on the dystopian shelf. But I am not telling you that. I'm just telling you, you need to read this. You need to read this. The sequel comes out in May. I should have named this video dystopian like books that no one talks about, because I have a lot of them. The next one is a series, and I have it backwards. It's called This Mortal Coil series. I think that's what it's called, but it's by Emily Suvada. It's a terrific book. It's set in a world where there's a plague, and it's turning people zombie-like, but they can also blow up, which is this. But the main character is a hacker, and you find out a lot about her backstory, about that she is more than what she seems, and basically it's her fight to figure out a cure for humankind. Super good. My husband is a really big science nerd, and I say that with all the love in my heart, like I'm a nerd too, but he's a big science nerd. He absolutely loved this. We actually, let me tell you how much we like this. We were reading it at the same time, and I'm not talking about I had my book and he had his book. I'm talking about my bookmark would be here, his would be right here, and we would just keep like wrestling each other for the book to read it. That's how good it is. I've never seen him that enthused to read a book except for this one. But it's a trilogy. So we got This Mortal Coil, This Cruel Design, and This Vicious Cure. All so good, all worth a read. Another series no one ever talks about, that is, I'm going to classify as dystopian. It's more of like apocalypse, but I always put Apocalypse in dystopian category. It is The Life as We Know It series by Suzanne Beth Pfeffer. I think that's how you pronounce it. But you see this pretty cover. I'm not sure how long it's going to take the camera to focus, so I'm just going to keep talking. But you see the cover? You see how close the moon is? Yeah, that's what the problem is. There is an event that causes the moon to be knocked in towards the earth, and the author does so good at explaining the events that would happen, that would actually happen if the earth, or if the moon actually came closer to the earth. And it's so scary. Like, it's told in diary format. It's like, it's frightening, people. It's frightening. I was reading it, and this was actually gifted to me by my husband, and I'm like, is the earth, is the moon going to come closer to the earth? What do we do? What's our plan for that? And he's like, I shouldn't have bought you those books. But it's so good. It's so good. The, there is an event, I believe, of a meteor. Yeah. The meteor hits the moon. It knocks the moon closer to the earth. The author does so good at explaining what happens in the event that the moon actually does come close to the earth, and a lot of it is scientifically backed up, because scientists are heroes, and they run every possible scenario. If you ever want to not sleep at night, you can go look at all of those scenarios that they have predicted and have said what would happen. It's quite terrifying. This series is actually quite terrifying too. It's told in diary format, and it's so good. The series is so good. But yeah, I always put like apocalyptic books underneath the dystopian radar, because to me they're one and the same. The world goes to shit. It's dystopian. So that's my thing. Another one where the world goes to shit is H2O by Virginia Bergin. I believe that this has now been renamed as The Rain. I'm not entirely sure. I'll flash the new cover. But basically, it revolves around this girl, Ruby. There we go. Her name is Ruby. I really like, it's a duology too. I think the second one's called The Storm. But it revolves around this girl named Ruby. She is at a party, and they had gotten wind of, like, there was going to be some strange accumulation in rain. So they're all like, oh, we're going to watch it, we're going to party, we're going to watch it. Turns out the event was basically acid rain that kills you. She watches this guy that she has a crush on die right in front of her. Any liquid that falls from the outside, or that is outside when the rain falls into it, is contaminated because of these little, like, bacteria that's in the rain. Super well done duology. I absolutely loved it. And Ruby is an unlikable main character, which is what I really like. She's an unlikable main character. She's this sassy brat who slowly digs her way into your heart, and she has so much character development over the duology. It's amazing. Alright, another one that's apocalyptic is Refraction by Naomi Hughes. This one, an alien, or I guess you would say aliens, I don't know. Aliens have invaded, and any reflective surface is now a portal that allows them to come into your area and attack you. That's some D&D shit right there. I'm going to tell you that. That's some stuff that my friend Casey would think of to fuck us all over. It's such a good concept. The main character is an illegal mirror black trade marker, I believe. Yeah, he's a distributor of an illegal mirror trade until he's caught by the mayor's son. It's such a good book. I couldn't put it down. I think I read this book in like about an hour. Like, it was that good. Highly recommend it if you're looking for like alien reads or anything like that. Alright, and then the last one of this entirely way too long recommendations video. I'm so sorry, but I love Dystopian so much. This one is another one that me and my husband read together. It is Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. I'm sure you've heard about this. It got turned into a movie. But basically, there is like VR, and it's readily available, and you can go into this server that can basically like give you anything you want. Like, you can vacation on the server and it looks like you're at the beach. You can meet people on the server. You can do the dirty on the server. Our main character, he games in the same virtual world, and he actually goes to school in the virtual world, which you can already tell that this is fiction because we're fighting over in school our online learning. But anyways, I digress. But he gets a shot like via Willy Wonka like storyline. But our main character is also obsessed with this myth that the server, it's called Oasis, creator has left clues that will lead people to like this fortune. When he accidentally stumbles his way into the second clue, then the race is on. It's on from there. Such a good book. I have not read the sequel. I've heard the sequel was disappointing, but I've not read it yet, and I will. Because I do owe this book that much. It was so good. And this is full of 80s references if you're into that. So yeah, that is it for today. Hopefully I gave you a new recommendation that you can go out and buy. Again, Dystopian is probably the underdog of the book genre family. But it's my favorite. I absolutely love it. And since it's my birthday weekend, I get to decide what I put content out on. So, tell me if you have a dystopian rec for me down below, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye!